What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Striking Kicks podcast. I think this is episode 8, or yesterday's was episode 8. I don't know, because you said it was 8, because there's 8 episodes, or 9. You said it was, because there's 8 episodes in there.
Yeah, I said 8, and then there were episode 6s.
Yeah.
No episode 7.
Right.
But it said we had 8 uploaded, so this could be 10.
Yeah, who's to say? Who is to say at this point? The last one I said was season 2, episode 1, I think is what I put in there. So, yeah, here we go. We're going to talk about the U.S. Open, the review. We had the preview of the U.S. Open. Now this is the review of the U.S. Open. And then we are going to talk a little bit about CB Tour season number 2.
Yep.
And some of the improvements, I guess the first half dates, maybe a couple of little sneaky peeks into the second half of season 2. See how we're feeling. But yeah, season, episode whatever, 10, I guess. We're just going to say 10.
Well,
Season 2, episode 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Season 2, episode 2. And let's fire off, Kens.
Let's do it. So what do you think about the U.S. Open?
U.S. Open. Well, I was a little perturbed at the 2026 World Cup schedule announcement after they had already changed the time, I believe, to 3:30 today, 3:30 Eastern, 1:30 our time. 1:30 came around. They were on the YouTube TV guide. It still said that it was U.S. Open, but it wasn't. It was the FIFA World Cup for 2 years from now.
Yeah,
2 years from now. So that's a tough break. I wonder what the deal is with Fox. Looks like they kind of, I don't know. They treat bowling like a redheaded stepchild sometimes, and I wonder what that deal is. Shout out to Mark, commented on the PBA's Facebook post.
Yeah, Mark Farrell's a G.
Mark.
That was a good comment.
You know, I don't think it's there yet, but I do think I don't really watch any TV anymore besides sports. And I think there's going to be a pretty big revolution of people just completely dropping TV, and it won't be as big anymore. I think, like CB, right, we're using that to our advantage because you can get it in. We have full control over the schedule and whether you can see it or not, where the PBA obviously is hurt, or in this case hurt, by Fox's scheduling issues. However, because the PBA has been on television, traditionally most PBA fans would feel as if it was a downgrade, I would guess, to not be on TV, even though it would be free. Anybody could watch on YouTube with an internet connection. Who's to say how many more people now have access to internet than they do TV? So people would see that as a downgrade for us. We use that to our advantage, and I don't think anybody thinks all of this is worse. So,
Agreed.
Tough break there to start, and then it started. And then, like I said, I think most people were probably in agreement that this was maybe the best lineup of 5 the PBA has ever had on the TV show. How much of the show did you end up watching? I know you're a little busy today.
Yeah, so I planned to watch. We had it all on in the background, but I'm a little busy meal prepping today. But, so I saw the first match. I don't know, it was okay. The things that I saw, like every now and then they'd miss a pin or whatever.
That was a match of kind of who wanted to lose less, I guess, not necessarily who wanted to win. So several times someone would whiff a spare or miss wildly.
Yeah. Well, EJ had a little bit of seemed like a little more of a rough start.
You did?
Bill O'Neill started really strong.
Yep.
But then afterwards, it just kind of went to...
Yeah, they kind of traded blows there in the 8th, 9th, and 10th frame as far as splitting and stuff like that, and not striking when one needed to. So, first match, a little lackluster, unfortunately, from 2 good bowlers. It's always tough. We've talked about this when we format our bowling competitions, the CB Tour. And I one of my big things I tell you is I don't want someone to not strike to lose, to end it. It's just I feel so anticlimactic. There was this whip, I think it was EJ against Kyle, and Kyle had won because EJ missed. So he wrapped a 10-pin, and everybody starts standing up clapping because Kyle just won, but EJ was the one throwing the shot, so it was very awkward because EJ is obviously upset.
Yeah.
And everybody's just standing clapping. And I'm like, this doesn't, my brain's not braining right now.
It's a little more energy when it's the other way around.
Yep.
I feel like if, I don't know, if EJ struck right there, would he have won?
Could have won. He had a good count on the next ball.
Okay, so he probably obviously
would've
would have had way more emotion
Yeah.
doing that than.
Just felt awkward. And that's kind of the inherent problem, I think. This is kind of why we formatted the way we formatted the CB Tour, is because in one-game matches...
Wow.
Well-
CB Tour.
Sorry, Paul.
No tur.
I know. Is that, the one game we watch a lot of bowling, right? Because we stream other bowling tournaments. As in most cases, which is basically every match, one of these matches came down to the 10th frame. But every other match wasn't really close.
Yeah.
So that is an inherent problem when you only bowl one game, is it's very difficult to get close games. And then, like, I don't know, like I feel like when you watch golf and someone's 10 strokes ahead, it's like, holy crap,
Yeah.
this guy's killing everybody. But in bowling, it's just, it feels boring, I guess. I don't know. Kyle beat Jason 240 to 170.
Yeah.
It was a complete wipeout. And then I feel like it's because the opponent. I would say this. Like when someone's playing really good golf, right, the TV's on that guy that's playing really good.
Yeah.
But now you have to watch Jason. Not saying that that's necessarily, not hating on Jason, but like you have to watch him bowl bad.
Yeah.
Like if someone's playing poor golf on the show, you don't.
They're in a completely different hole.
Yeah, you're not really watching them.
Yeah.
Or slowing down the pace too much. So, yeah, the first match, it was close. The thing was, it was close, but it was like close in a bad way almost.
Yeah.
Like not necessarily a bad way, I guess like a sad way, because Bill missed. He had someone tweeted at him like, "Why would you throw the same ball in the same spot twice in a row on the left lane?" Yeah. He's like, "That wasn't my intention to do so, Nick." I was like,
Of course it was a Nick.
that was pretty funny. So that was kind of a tough break. You got one, too. That was crazy. You got one on the spare in the 9th frame, which the match wasn't completely out of hand because EJ needed a double, went strike, and then wrap it a 10-pin. So how you guys, because you weren't with me, you were with your fam. Your fam is newish to bowling. They've been exposed to what we've exposed them to. Did they know anybody? Did they understand how great of a lineup this was? Any of that stuff?
No.
Did they get that from watching the show? Like, oh, must be really a big moment.
I wouldn't say so, no.
No.
I feel like, so Hayden had a good time because obviously his pick won, but his pick was kept climbing the ladder.
Yep.
So he had a good time with that. I don't know. We had my brother and Tony watching.
Yeah.
So he had some younger guys, but I mean,
I feel like they're pretty good representation of the non-bowler, like the crowd that we're wanting, like sports fans, people that watch sports a lot, but not necessarily into bowling. And your observation was maybe they didn't understand what was going on or get the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, they were asking me quite a few questions, and I tried to answer them as well as I could have, but they were a little surprised. I don't know if surprise is the right word, but like they only had one game. And so they didn't see anything else. They didn't see them bowling other times at all. It was just what was on the show.
Yeah.
So like Hayden mentioned, like it went very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, dang, it's already over. But yeah, they just thought there'd be more, I guess.
Sure. I feel the same way. Like that's I think you put it in a good way is I don't necessarily feel that it's short because I feel like the pacing is slow compared to other sports, but I feel like there should be more. I don't come away feeling fulfilled on understanding like the story, all that other stuff, I guess.
So by more, what do you mean? Like
that's
more,
what I don't know.
Like, do you think more people within that stepladder?
Maybe. So that, not to give away any of our trade secrets, but this is part of the reason that we have 2 matches going at the same time because you're getting more boys. So they both 5 games, right? Mm-hmm. So say that our matches were 1-game matches. You could essentially have 5 rounds and bowl the same amount of games they did. So if you have 10 people or whatever, you can have significantly more amount of people, not 10 people. You'd have like 16 people. You could have 16 people bowl 1-game bracket matches at the same time, and it take the same amount of time that this show took. So, I don't know. I don't know exactly what I mean by more, but I definitely I feel that there should be more of something. I don't know if it should take longer per se, because I think the show is still 2 hours. Okay. But I don't feel like there's enough in that 2 hours, personally. And it sounds like they obviously don't feel that way too. They thought there'd be more. Mm-hmm. More of what? Maybe that's a good question. We'll have Hayden on the show one time.
I'm sure he would look up.
I would have to edit out a lot of stuff out of the show. So the second match, EJ versus Kyle Troup. I don't really remember this match much. I was playing my game with Colby, and while I was watching,
Kyle Troup was. I'm pretty sure this was the game, but Kyle Troup was like on fire.
Yeah, he bowled really good the middle 2 games, I believe.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember much from. EJ lost because he wrapped a 10-pin. He beat Bill. Oh, this was the one he lost. It was close. I mean, he had to double in the 10th to win and wrapped a 10. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Then everybody's clapping. They stood up clapping. Well, EJ just I don't know what he did. His glasses came off. He wasn't wearing his glasses anymore, and they cut to his face shot and clearly upset. And everybody's just standing there clapping. Bowling's funny, man. I just don't understand. It just doesn't.
Well, I feel like for the crowd, that's kind of an awkward position because you're you don't want to clap because he just lost, but you want to clap because Kyle Troup just advanced. Like, I feel like that's hard.
Maybe we need to do like how volleyball or tennis, like the to win, you have to have offensively won, right? So like if you're in a match point essentially, and the other person has control of the serve and they hit it, and you have to have the serve to win, basically. If they serve and lose a point, technically you get the ball back, and now you have the opportunity to score. And so like in a tight game, you have to have served, and I don't know, I guess you could still hit one out. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I would like to see someone in bowling offensively win. I think that's the best case scenario, is when someone not on the bench does something to win instead of the opponent losing the game, basically.
Well, I feel like in a lot of stepladders, and I'm sure this isn't true for quite a few, but a lot of them, even in other sports, like the team or the person who starts a little lower has gotten all that practice. They've gotten warmed up.
Yeah, that's an advantage.
At that point, Kyle Troup's already bowled 2 games. Bowls Anthony Simonson, who hasn't bowled at all.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of an advantage.
Oh, it is.
Itself.
Certainly.
You're
like 1 seed, you only have to win 1 game, right, to win the chipper. Mm-hmm. But you're also not bowling. Now, the PBA, they get a lot of practice between rounds, which I don't love because I think it breaks the oil pattern down too much. But they do get a lot of practice, but on commercial breaks, the other guy, like Simo and Belmo, are coming in and practicing on the pair.
Which I'm sure they are practicing, but I don't know, mentally.
Yeah.
Kyle Troup's playing,
you got a game or 2 under your belt, under pressure.
They're practicing. I feel like it's a little different.
Oh, it is. You're right. Certainly is an advantage. I think the sweet spot's like the 3 seed.
Yeah.
Clearly. On a, that's true. And then it was Kyle Troop, Jason. Jason bowled very poorly. Ken and I were actually texting back and forth about this. Ball choice was really poor, I would say.
He throw.
An IQ tier. And it just didn't look good. It blacked a 10-pin on the right lane, and he didn't switch and stayed in it too long. And then at some point switched to a virtual energy blackout. That wasn't the right ball either. I think he needed the strike in the situation that he finally did switch balls. It was a little too late at that point. Would have needed to punch out, and the ball never saw the lane.
Wasn't Kyle Troop throwing?
Kyle was. Yeah. I mean, they're a little bit different in their games, but I don't know if the layouts are different, if they had different surface preparations. But Jason's Vibo looked awful, and Kyle's Vibo looked amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that was, but Kyle laxed him, shot 240 at him in an uneventful match, and then faced Anthony Simonson in the chipper. Simon threw a gem and an idol.
I feel like he always throws a gem. Does he throw that often?
Those two balls quite a bit, yeah.
Okay.
What he likes to do is, and what he did, kind of his A game really, is throwing it real hard and straight up the right side, which he tried to do, and then split the first two frames, and then got kind of bounced back after that, and then Kyle was up quite a bit going into the ninth frame. And Ken, I don't remember watching this because I got to the point where Kyle won.
Yeah.
But Simon missed a spare, a single pin spare, I think a 10-pin, and kind of just gave up.
Yeah.
And then Kyle split and opened in the ninth. But I think he ended up, because Simon missed a spare, after Kyle split and opened, he only needed one pin and two shots to win. He had 203.
Yeah, I was saying he was like 20 or 30 ahead of him still.
But had Simon made the spare, then I think Kyle would have needed the mark in the 10th. After opening, you go open if he makes a spare, and then anything can happen at that point. So, I mean, this nothing you can really control, but probably not the best, most entertaining show I've ever seen, with as stacked as the lineup was of the five bowlers. And then,
I feel like there was just a lot less strikes than I would have thought.
yeah, it's the U.S. Open. So, I mean, that's kind of like...
So it's the same pattern the whole time?
Yeah. Well, during the show, yes. So there was 3 different qualifying patterns, and then a finals pattern.
Okay, so the pattern that they bowled on today, they hadn't bowled on.
They had, so like the 3 days of qualifying, and then they cut. And then they go to the 4th finals pattern, and they bowled a cashers round and all of match play in the show on that one pattern.
Okay. So they qualified with 3 different ones, and then after qualifying, they bowled on that same one.
Yep. And it's the U.S. Open. The U.S. Open of golf is like the toughest test in golf. It's very hard. The course is very set up, very difficult, stuff like that. So bowling is kind of similar, and these are very, very difficult patterns. So typically not a lot of strikes thrown. So I mean, Kyle just bowled phenomenal. He threw a fair amount of strikes, but he also just bowled really good.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he didn't, but I'm thinking like back to back, like each other, the opponents.
Yeah, I think this is where I think not to spoil anything, but we're going to run into a little bit of this, is where the amount of practice they get on the pairs, the TV pairs, hurts the pattern a lot, because they practiced a lot on it. It was, at least is what I am told. It could have been different. I am told they have several minutes of practice where they can, the guys that are bowling the match and then the 2 guys who are not bowling the match are practicing on the pair. So the pattern's just getting chewed up, and then the lights are really hot on top of it. So the oil is, when oil's hot, it gets less viscous.
So would that make it
Viscosity goes
hook
down.
more or hook less? Would you say?
I would say probably hooks more, because it breaks down faster and the viscosity of the oil goes down because it's hot. So I think that hurts them. I don't know. I would like to see less bowling on that pair, because it just gets blown apart and then tough usually. When I don't think it needs to play the way that it does. But regardless, Kyle Troup wins his second major, and I think he was going to win? No, he was probably last on my list of people I thought was going to win. But
and we ran a poll today. He was also the least chosen out of the poll.
Did I want Kyle to win today? Yes. Like Kyle, he was probably my favorite guy of the bunch that was bowling. And he pulled it off. It was pretty cool. So good for Kyle. His dad was there watching. Dad was crying. Maybe a little premature because he's like, they cut to his dad. He's crying, and Kyle splits, and he's like, "Oh my God, what the hell just happened?" Yeah, it was a little funny, but good for Kyle. And that is the U.S. Open. Any final thoughts on the U.S. Open?
No, but if Kyle is watching or listening, congratulations.
Congrats,
CB.
Kyle, from CB. Shared two of our stories, so shout out to our boy, Kyle Troup. Maybe we need to jump on the getting a guest in bandwagon. I haven't quite figured out how we would set that up yet.
What guest?
Kyle.
Oh.
Get him on the show.
Big guns, yeah.
Yeah. Pull some strings. We'll see. I don't know.
All right, let's move on to CB Tour Season 2.
Season dose. Yeah. Well, what do we got on the dock? What do we want to talk about? In the words of Cody Rhodes.
You gotta do it like Cody Rhodes. Shy guy.
I'm not as good as him.
Okay, so I think a few things we should touch on. We touched a little bit about sponsors last episode.
Sure.
Maybe we could
Highlight a few. Sure.
Yep. I think we should talk about dates and where
Cool.
they're gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Probably talk about how anyone can bowl.
Sure.
We've got youth. We'll have a youth. We'll shindig. We've got the challenge series. Obviously, regular open series.
Main event. Yep.
Main event.
Yep.
Yeah. Main event. Cody Rhodes. What is the
Main event Jey Uso.
That's what it was. Jey Uso. Okay. I don't know. I think it'd also be kind of cool if we talk about what you get if you bowl on the CB Tour.
I'll let you handle that one since you're the operations manager.
Yeah.
We'll fire off, though. Let's highlight a few of our sponsors for next season. So Trillion Mortgage has stepped up. Steve DeYoung at Trillion Mortgage has purchased the naming rights of the CB Tour. So this season will be the Trillion Mortgage CB Tour, Championship Bowlers Tour, which is pretty cool. It allows us their funding, allows us to do a lot of cool things that you're going to see throughout next season. And then the first event is also the Trillion Mortgage Open in Lehigh.
Yep.
Jack and Jill Lehigh, August 9th through the 11th. Same weekend as it was last year in Lehigh. So we're excited to get back to Jack and Jill and work with Sam again. It's got a nice bowling center out there. Definitely looks good on stream. And then our next one is howtobowl.com. So Jesse, Darren, Packy, their company, their online bowling school, I guess. They are sponsoring the Masters. So it's going to be the howtobowl.com CB Masters for 2024 in the first half of season 2. So that'll be, again, the same weekend as it was last year, September 27th through the 29th at Spare Time Lanes in Roy, Utah. We got a few special things for our major that we've got planned and are in the works currently. That is only possible due to the funding that we've received for these events. So that's awesome.
And it is something that if you're not able to bowl but would like to join the stream, you will also be able to see.
Yep.
What fun thing.
Or you just want to come watch in the bowl if you're from Utah.
Yeah, you can
in the area.
hang out.
Yes. And then to round out season 2 first half will be the Coach K Scholarship Open. Again, the same weekend, maybe the weekend after. The October weekend got a little funky.
Yeah,
with it. It was the 27th to the 29th last year, and now it's later instead of earlier, which the other ones are. I don't know. It's the November 1st to the 3rd. Going back to the Gold Coast in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we have REX Ball Reviews coming in. So they sponsored the Masters last year and are now the presenting sponsor, have upped their sponsorship on the CB Tour, and are the presenting sponsor of the Coach K Scholarship Open. It'll take place in Las Vegas November 1st through 3rd. So we really appreciate Theo and his team for coming out and supporting, coming to bowl. Andrew Halverson, part of their team, put up a pretty good show. I think he took 5th or 6th. Mm-hmm. 5th, right?
Yeah, I want to say 5th.
Yeah, because I think it was Andrew, Kyle, because I think Kyle took 4th. Dallas Burke,
that is
Kendall, Alex.
Kyle's designated spot.
Yeah, 4th.
He can only get 4th.
A little Jackie Moon action.
Yeah.
4th place. Yeah.
Only 4th place.
Mm-hmm.
We won't let him go any further or any lower, unfortunately.
Dang. Well, yeah, so shout out to Theo and the REX Ball Reviews team. They're crushing it out in Michigan and Andrew down in Georgia. So we appreciate them coming on. We'll see them in Las Vegas. It's going to be a fun one. Mm-hmm. So that is the first half of Season 2. So we've extended the Season 2. Right now, the plan is to will consist of 5 events instead of 4, and it didn't really make sense to try to cram them all before the new year. So we'll have the first 3 events. We'll take a break for the holidays, Christmas and New Year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year, and then we'll pick back up again after the Utah Open of 2025.
Isn't that crazy? That sounds like it's so far away.
I know, it is. Man, but we need the time to get things prepared.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Plus PTO.
And it's going to go way quick.
Yeah, it'll go quick when it's here. So, yeah, when those dates are, we haven't solidified them yet. We're gotten venues yet, for sure. But we will, the return of the Rumby Island Grill Classic will be the 4th event. Yep. Just a new date. And then the Storm CB Tour Championship will be the final tournament.
Yeah, we have a good idea where that's going to be.
We do?
Are you wanting to spill the beans?
I don't know. Do we spill the beans? I guess there's a little Easter egg for those who watch the Striking Kicks podcast.
Very true.
You have the honors, Commissioner.
Well, we do plan to have the tour championship in Boise, Idaho, at Westie's Garden Lanes. Josh has been interested in hosting us, and
yes. So Josh Groves,
possible. So.
His team out there, we've partnered with at Westie's Garden Lanes in Boise. Mm-hmm. Beautiful facility. Every tournament that happens there usually runs very, very smoothly.
Lots of lanes. The
concourse is nice. It's really set up for a bowling tournament, the way the concourse is kind of set up. Lots of space.
They've got some dank Dragon Tails.
Dragon Tails, yep. Do like the Dragon Tails.
Except last time, the sauce was different. It was not as good.
It gives me a little heartburn now. Well,
you're getting old.
I know. It's bad. I'm an old man now. Yeah, so that's the plan for second half of CB Tour. We're just finalizing the Rumby Island Grill Classic venue and dates. Venue and dates is what we're finalizing there. We have a pretty good idea of when. And
securing if that is actually going to be sponsorship and everything.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's a go, but we haven't had that full sit-down confirmation yet.
So there you have it. That's kind of the layout, the roadmap of CB Tour season number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And again, guys, I know it's a little disappointing that it's so far out. August, man, that's far away. It doesn't seem far away to me now. We're already into February 2024. We're motoring along, and we got a lot of work to do because I can't not level up. I can't just do the same thing. That to me is insanity.
That's why we went from 1 to 4 to 5.
Just to copy and paste. So that's the one upgrade. But we have several more big things planned, stuff that doesn't happen at these kinds of tournaments. But we are just going to continue to innovate and improve upon what the CB experience is. Let's go over maybe some changes, like you said, how part of what your Everyone Can Bowl portion.
Mm-hmm.
So we've made some changes. We rolled out the CB Challenge Series, the Tour Challenge Series in Reno. I thought it was pretty well received. It's a handicap division, so at a reduced entry fee as well, So I think it's half of the main event entry fee. So if it's 160, it's 80. If it's 180, it's 90. Mm-hmm. Right. So a little easier to get into, I would say.
You could also bowl that as well as the main event.
You could do it as an add-on. It's going to be less the lineage, which usually is about $20-$25. Mm-hmm. So you can bowl it. We use your CB Tour average or a converted CB Tour average. So if you don't have a CB Tour average of at least 15 games, then we'll take your highest average on bowl.com, highest composite average on bowl.com, and then if that's a sport, we would adjust it to a house standard, is what they call it, house shot average. And then from the house shot average, we will convert it to a CB Tour average. That will be your entering average to the challenge series. It's just 5-game sweeper, basically, that takes place at the same time as the main event. So I thought it went really, really well in Reno. We had several people, at least 15 or 20 people that would not have bowled otherwise had that option not been available. So that's a change that'll be at all CB Tour events in season 2.
Whoa.
Whoa. Thinking a little too far ahead. You also...
Are you moving on from that topic?
I was about to. What do you got? Let's hear
Just if that is something that our listeners may be interested in, there will only be limited spots. So
yep. So here in Utah, we basically almost sold out last year of all the spots. So main event spots. So we're working on a strategy right now to take entries for these things. So you're going to want to get on top of it. I think we're going to reserve a certain amount. How many that is, I'm not sure yet, of challenge / CB Tour Junior spots. Mm-hmm. Another little leak there. If you're listening to the podcast, you're getting all the inside information. So they'll have a certain amount of entries per squad that they get, and then the rest is main event. And then, at a certain point, we'll just be first come, first served, probably before the squad starts. So it was whoever's here. So we're working on that as we speak to find the best way to fill these squad spots. Mm-hmm. So it's a very good point. You're going to want to keep an eye out on our social media, subscribe to our mailing list on our website to be informed on when those dates are to get your registration in. So it will vary. Last year we opened all of them up at the same time. This year, take a little bit of a different approach, and
we'll do like a couple months before each, right?
Yes. Yep. Moving on to CB Tour Junior, another one. So we're going to do a heavily structured focus. Before, it was kind of just junior bowlers could bowl the main event, right? That's always kind of been the case with CB. If you make money, if you cash, it goes in your smart account. Mm-hmm. This year, we're going to make a focus on this. We had the CB Tour Youth Scholarship Fund. Was set aside some money, and we did our raffle, and that was all to raise money for non-cashing youth bowlers. Now what we're doing is we are going to have a CB Tour, the CB Tour Junior is taking over that, basically. Mm-hmm. So what can happen? If you're a junior bowler and you bowled last year in the main event, you can do the same thing, and basically it'll work the same way, other than a specific finals for youth bowlers that don't make the main event cut. Okay, and then what will happen if you were a junior bowler and you're like, man, just $160, I can't quite make it. It's a little too expensive for me. Mm-hmm. We have an option for you now. If you want to just bowl the CB Tour Junior portion of the tournament, $60 is your entry fee.
Yep.
So we've reduced that down to $60, and you'll be able to bowl your 5 games of qualifying, and then we'll cut, depending on how many youth we have, to either the minimum, the top 2 boys and the top 2 girls. If we don't have 2 girls, then the highest girl will be inserted into the finals of the boys. I guess it'll just be 1. But if we have more than 1 girl, then the top 2 girls will bowl a finals on Sunday, with not at the same time, but on Sunday. We haven't quite 100% worked out the logistics and details, but right now, like what we've thought of, is after the first couple rounds of the main event bracket, the lanes that we're no longer using for the main event bracket, we will have the youth finals take place on. So that's the plan for CB Tour Junior. We have an option for you now at $60 to enter, and then we'll have we also have a junior membership. That's $20. That will get you $10 off of your first entry into CB Tour Junior, and get you into the CB Tour Junior points race from the end of the year. Yep. So we've revamped that, made a big focus instead of just paying to non-cashing youth bowlers. Now you will have an option of a $60 flat entry fee if you don't want to, or cannot afford the main event entry, which we know is steep for some youth bowlers. And then we will pay out scholarships and have a whole finals for the youth bowlers who don't make the main event cut.
Yep.
So we're excited about that. That's one of our big changes moving forward. Was there any other big changes that we're doing?
Well, before we change topics, there were quite a few youth bowlers that didn't realize they could bowl
Sure.
the CB Tour. So I think this will show them, obviously, that youth can bowl any CB Tour event, because this will be happening at all of them. But kind of let them see what championship bowling is about.
Yep.
And we had quite a few, like our regular youth bowlers last year, but hopefully this year we see some more now that we're rolling out CB Tour Junior.
A majority of the youth bowlers last year made scholarship money because mostly because we didn't have a ton of youth bowlers come out, but the youth bowlers that did made the main event cut.
Yeah, they're very good.
They cashed, which allowed, the youth bowlers who maybe didn't bowl as better than those other youth bowlers get money from the CB Tour Youth Scholarship Fund because the others cashed in the main event.
Oh, and it's a good visual, I guess. Exposure. We have been told on a few occasions that, so you may know, Nevaeh has been talked to by a few colleges, with them seeing like her on stream and everything. So I'm not sure about any of the other youth. We've just talked to Nevaeh's parents about it, but so it is some exposure to clearly someone who is looking, because they've reached out to Nevaeh.
Specifically, the coaches said they watched him on watched her on CB streams and recruiters. So so another
good thing for youth bowlers. You'll get a little bit of exposure to some coaches out there. So,
good stuff for the youth.
Yep,
big strides there. Other than that, we have some things I don't want to spoil yet. Okay. And I don't know if we're gonna say it publicly. Some of our big plans. I want it
like
to be
the CB Masters plans.
All the plans. Mostly CB Masters plans.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't know the other plans.
Yes, because I want it to be. I want people to walk in like, wow.
Oh yeah, it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah,
it'll be exciting.
So that is the cool new stuff we're doing for CB Tour Season 2. The points will stay the same. We're planning on rolling out some bonus points for the doubles, the shootout doubles. So just bowling the shootout doubles right now, you'll get 10 bonus points. You and your partner, 10 bonus points.
Just for bowling.
For bowling. Just for signing up, you get 10 bonus points. If you make the cut, which right now is set at 4 teams, unless we have more than 20, then we'll take 8. But right now it's set at 4 teams. You will get 25 bonus points, you and your partner. And then if you win, the winners will each receive 50 bonus points.
Just a little incentive to get some extra bowling done on Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Yeah. So, because that has to be after qualifying. So yeah, Saturday night, because it uses all your qualifying scores.
Yep. And then we also, Doug Hankins, helped us out, brought up a great idea, is we're going to have like a board. If you're interested in wanting to bowl and looking for a partner, because I guess I didn't realize this, just caught up in the moment, but I would feel the same. Like the sentiment that I heard, I personally would feel the same trying to look for a doubles partner. You know, if I didn't have friends that, like all my friends were bowling, that I would struggle to find a partner. So we're going to put up a board that if you're looking for a partner or needing a partner,
we'll have a list of names and
list of names and your
contact.
average. Exactly. So it should be a little easier to find partners to bowl the shootout doubles. And I do think we're going to reduce the re-entry. So it'll be $50 a bowler for your main entry, like your entry into the doubles. And then if you want to try to improve your score for the doubles, now you still have to pay your re-entry fee to the main event in XYZ, but it would only be $25 extra in order to try to improve your score.
Yeah, so last year it was $50. So
it was just a straight $50, which really is just more prize money. So, but I think it'll be a softer hit for some of the people that maybe want to try to improve their score and get into that top four. We also, one thing that, because we have so much control of the format and the stream and everything else, we're going to test things out. We're going to be a little more open to changing things from tournament to tournament as we see fit, trying to see what works and what doesn't. So one of the things we're going to try is handicap brackets. So the USELAC does this, a tournament group in Utah, where there's scratch and handicap brackets. There's no open under divisions handicap tournament, but we're going to, as you know, with the division structure, there's just not enough under division bowlers to justify their own bracket, but and the people in the kind of the bottom end of the open division typically don't get into brackets anyway. So we're going to introduce a handicap bracket, use your CB Tour average, and then
so anyone can do scratch or handicap, right? They could do both.
They can do both. Yeah.
One or the other. Okay.
Yep. So that is another innovation that we're going to see how it is received and taken by our bowlers.
Yep. I think that'll be good. I think just the one thing that I feel bowlers struggle with is we give you the price up front. Give you everything. All your brackets, your entry fee, all your extras, side pots, whatever. Where other tournaments, your brackets are separate.
Yep.
So, I mean, as a human, you're like, okay, well, it's $160 to enter the tournament. I just spend $200 in brackets, however much you spend. I don't think it hits you like, oh, that's $360. But when we're doing it, we give it to you, and everyone's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But it's just because it's the same amount that you're doing.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's just one lump sum.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. How did we get to here?
Yeah.
And then we start counting out. I did sign up for all that.
Yep.
Yep. I agree. I think we've started to kind of get over that hump a little bit. The bowlers that have bowled with us more than once, I think, have gotten an understanding of the cadence and stuff like that.
For sure.
Because it is different. We do things a little differently than others, other tournaments. And that's kind of the point. Not saying that others are bad or indifferent, but our goal here at CB is to be different, because bowling has done the same thing for a very long time, and look where it is today. So, not saying that they're necessarily wrong, but our goal is to be different in just about every capacity as possible, or as that is logical. So, yeah, that CB Tour Season 2, that's the first half. A sneak peek into the second half. The point structure will stay roughly the same. We won't make any major changes to that. There is a point system. We cash the top 16. We will cash at least the top 16 again, and unless we have a significant increase in entries and whatnot that add to that prize fund. You double your money at least of your membership. That gets you into the points of an elite membership. I guess is $50. Well, it's $50 right now, but it will go up at some point. It's $50 right now, so you want to jump in and get your membership, renew your membership. But you double your money to cash the top 16. I think 10th place was almost $300. Sixth place was $400, I believe. So there's a pretty good amount of money in the points championship. Kendall walked away with $2,000 and will guarantee $2,000 to win the points again. So basically just a cash in another tournament, or first place cash in another tournament. Essentially, you're just cashing in. There's like a sixth tournament that you're cashing in that takes place over an entire season. That costs $50 to get in.
Yep.
And essentially, really, it doesn't cost, if you bowl all five and you buy the $50 member, you get it right now before it goes up to $60, then you get in to the points for free because you save $10 on your first entry in every CB Tour event if you're an elite member. So, pretty good deal.
It sure is.
All right. Anything else we need to add?
Every time we do a podcast.
It's a timer. It's 25 minutes.
Oh. I thought we were going to talk about what you get when you bowl a CB Tour.
Well, how about it? We still got a couple minutes here.
Okay, well, I'll be quick. So as someone who bowls on the CB Tour, there's quite a few things that you get that you don't get at, I would say, a regular bowling tournament, which one is a huge thing. We have our streamed events. So if your family, your friends can't make it, but they want to see you, that's a great way to let them watch.
We do take requests. There's hundreds of bowlers that I'm trying to cover and tell a story about. So sometimes I gloss over some people.
Yeah.
It's not on purpose. If you have a request, we have a chat on YouTube.
We do. And then obviously for like youth bowlers, it has shown that it helps
College.
you get some recruitment. We've got Chad McLean, who offers photos and videos that you can use. He can do edited, non-edited, whatever. He's got a couple packages. You can use that for your social media.
Again, we have a lot of bowlers. Trying to focus on the ones that we need content for, the leaders and stuff. So if you're wanting photos of yourself and guarantee that you'll have photos of yourself, purchase a package from Charles.
Yeah, you gotta get with Chad. We also include a swag bag with every first entry of each tournament. So the last 2 years we've had Liquid Death, who partners with us. We give everyone a water. We've got stickers, bracelets, koozies, all that kind of stuff in little bags. You got to take it as a bowler on the tour. And then we always have, well, not always, but at the CB Masters, we have merch. And I believe
we do. We didn't even mention this. We have a new merch apparel partner, and that's Apparel EFX.
Yes.
Randy Cote and their team hooking us up. We just don't have the jerseys yet. I just barely got them the information. We'll have them at the end of the month, but we'll officially announce that on our socials when we have the jerseys and all of our crew rocking them. Yeah. Apparel EFX, our new merch apparel partner.
Yeah, so we'll have a few designs of things on there, right? We're going to do like a little store. We also got some cool cups that a lot of people enjoyed last year, so I think we're going to bring that back. But yeah, we like to make it an event, not just a tournament. So there's just a few extra things as bowlers. We just want you guys to have a good time and have a good experience with us.
You get a lot of stuff when you bowl CB Tour events.
A lot of stuff.
It's not your run-of-the-mill local tourney.
You would meet a lot of cool people. Hang out with me. I'm the coolest one.
It's true. Commish. But she also levies the fines, so be careful.
I do.
Alrighty. Well, that's season 2, episode 2 in the books. Final thoughts.
That's everything, I think. Covered all our bullet points.
Do you want to do your final thoughts for the people?
Final thoughts?
Yeah.
What am I to say?
I don't know anything.
I don't have anything else to say.
Well, all right then. She has nothing else for you to tell you people. Other than
You're
thank you.
amazing, and I hope that you bowl CB Tour Season 2 because we have potentially 5 stops, and we're going to Vegas, Boise, Utah. You guys should be there.
All right. Signing off. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.